All mother sentient beings, limitless as the sky, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles. My path to liberation and all-knowingness, may they experience happiness and be separated from suffering. I will quickly establish them. State of the most perfect and precious Bodhi, all mother sentient beings, limitless as the sky. Obstructors who harm me and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and all-knowingness, experience happiness and be separated from suffering. I will quickly establish them in the state of the most perfect and precious Bodhi, all mother sentient beings, limitless as the sky, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to all-knowingness. May they experience happiness and be separated from suffering. I will quickly establish them in the state of the most perfect, precious Bodhi. Thus, until I achieve Buddha, I engage in virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. Until death, I engage in virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. From now until this time tomorrow, I engage in virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. Now to the refuge in the fourth session Guru Yoga. All mother sentient beings, limitless as the sky, take refuge in you, precious Guru Buddha. We supplicate you, Dharma Lord Buddha, protector of wandering beings. We take refuge in you, Guru, clear like Dharmakaya. We supplicate you, Dharma Lord Buddha, protector of wandering beings. We take refuge in you, perfect Sambhogakaya. We supplicate you, Dharma Lord Buddha, protector of wandering beings. We take refuge in you, Guru, compassionate Nirmanakaya. We supplicate you, Dharma Lord Buddha, protector of wandering beings. We take refuge in you, Guru, the actuality of the four kayas. We supplicate you, Dharma Lord Buddha, protector of wandering beings. All mother sentient beings, limitless as the sky, take refuge in you, precious Guru Buddha. We supplicate you, Dharma Lord Buddha, protector of wandering beings. We take refuge in you, Guru, clear like Dharmakaya. We supplicate you, Dharma Lord Buddha, protector of wandering beings. We take refuge in you, Guru, perfect Sambhogakaya. We supplicate you, Dharma Lord Buddha, protector of wandering brings. We take refuge in you, Guru, compassionate Nirmanakaya. We supplicate you, Dharma Lord Buddha, protector of wandering beings. We take refuge in you, Guru, the actuality of the four kayas. We supplicate you, Dharma Lord Buddha, protector of wandering beings. All mother sentient beings, limitless as the sky, take refuge in you, precious Guru Buddha. We supplicate you, Dharma Lord Buddha, protector of wandering beings. We take refuge in you, Guru, Clear like Dharmakaya, we supplicate you, Dharma Lord, Buddha, protector of wandering beings. We take refuge in you, Guru, perfect Sambhogakaya. We supplicate you, Dharma Lord, Buddha, protector of wandering beings. We take refuge in you, Guru, compassionate Nirmanakaya. We supplicate you, Dharma Lord, Buddha, protector of wandering beings. We take refuge in you, Guru, Buddha, the actuality of the four kayas. We supplicate you, Dharma Lord, Buddha, protector of wandering beings. All mother sentient beings, limitless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from the bias of attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from the bias of attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from the bias of attachment and aversion. In the state of emptiness, the non-referential nature of all phenomena, on the seat of lotus, sun, moon, and corpse, one's mind as a brilliant red pump turns into Vajra Yogini, red complexion, radiating with empty bliss. Wrathful in demeanor, with three eyes gazing towards the sky, right hand with a katri, left holding a blood-filled kapala. Her mouth is slightly open, tongue curled back and making the sound pem, and protruding from the right of her face is the face of a black sow. She is in the form of a 16-year-old with breast swelling with bliss and adorned with the 5 bone ornaments and wearing garlands of flowers and heads. Joyfully her right hand holds aloft a Vajrakatri pointing towards the sky, and her left holds a blood-filled Kapala directly in front of her navel center, and held under her arm is glorious Heruka in the form of a Katanga dancing with her left leg standing upright and right bent, arisen within swelling red lights of empty bliss. Then above her head, in the expanse of 5-colored rainbow lights, on a jewel throne supported by lions, elephants, horses, peacocks, and garudas, in the center of a lotus, free from the faults of samsara, and on a sun and moon that eliminate the sufferings of cold and heat, the exalted mind of sovereign Vajradhara with the 7 attributes, the totality of the exalted speech of the Dharma of emptiness, of the perfection of wisdom, the exalted body of the perfect Buddhas possessing the 10 powers, is Jigt and Sumgan, embodiment of the 3 jewels, Lord of the teachings, victorious range and pale presence of the Dharmakaya, pleasing to those trainable, Sambhogakaya, blazing with the splendor of the major and minor marks, and Nirmanakaya, glowing with reddish white light, Lord of the teachings, wearing the three dharma robes, a sleeveless shirt with the seven noble riches, a meditation hat symbolizing ceaseless empowerment, and a golden skirt of the complete nine vehicles, right hand subduing the hordes of Maras by touching the ground, left in the mudra of the samadhi of immovable meditative equipoise. He sits in the Vajra posture, free from the extremes of samsara and nirvana. To his right and left are thrones, and on seats of lotus and moon are Avalokita in person, the Bodhisattva himself. Konchoratna, dressed as a bhikshu, holding a crystal mala and a stalk of lotus with his two hands. To the left is Chokidrakpa in the form of a bhikshu with the three robes, Manjushri Saraha in person, holding a vajra and bell and a axe and sword and lotuses. Both of them are wearing the meditation hat, symbolizing changelessness. They are like reflections of the one moon dancing on many waters. They are accompanied by the 85 accomplished masters of India and by an ocean of Kagyu-siddhas of Tibet, gathered in the main and intermediate directions like immeasurable clouds. With Jah, the hook of faith draws in the wisdom beings from the expanse with whom they arrive with the kindness that pleases wandering beings. With Bum they abide joyfully with limitless compassion. With Ho they protect with the smiles of the tamer of wandering beings. With compassion please remain here for the sake of wandering beings. I respectfully pay homage with fierce and longing faith of the three types to you, the glorious Guru, Lord of the four kayas. With my body, speech, and mind I make offerings of all these established beings, outer, inner, and other. The one who offers that which is offered and the act of offering are indivisible in essence. This being so, I make this offering of the great single taste, free from elaborations. Grant me the accomplishment of effortlessness. I lay bare the impairments and breakings of the vows of the three vehicles and rejoice in your liberating deeds. Please turn the wheel of Dharma in accordance with the capacities of those to be trained, and remain here for as long as samsara has not been emptied. I dedicate the merit accumulated in the three times to the welfare of wandering beings. I supplicate you, the Dharmakaya, great Vajradhara of the sixth family. I supplicate you, the 85 Indian Mahasiddhas. I supplicate you, Tili Pragya Bhadra. I supplicate you, Narogyana Siddhi. I supplicate you, Marpa of Lodra, the translator. I supplicate you, Mila Shepa Dorje. I supplicate you, Dao Shonu of Dakpo. I supplicate you, the three Siddhas of Kam. I supplicate you, Dorje Gyalpo of Pakdu. I supplicate you, Jason Dorje Pelda. I supplicate you, Supreme Refuge, Jig and Sungan. I supplicate you, Dharma Lord and Nashri. I supplicate you, Kenchen Sutrim Dorje. I supplicate you, Onchen Sonam Dragpa. I supplicate you, Chenga Dragpa Jungne. I supplicate you, Chung O Dorje Dragpa. I supplicate you, Toka Rinchen Senge. I supplicate you, Samche Drakpa Sonam. I supplicate you, Chuni Dorje Rinchen. I supplicate you, Tuku Dorje Gyalpo. I supplicate you, Nirni Choki Gyalpo. I supplicate you, Shenyen Dondrup Gyalpo. I supplicate you, Rinchen Pelgi Gyal Tsen. I supplicate you, Chogyal Rinchen Pel Zong. I supplicate you, Rigzin Choki Gyal Tso. I supplicate you, Gyalwang Kunga Rinchen. I supplicate you, Jason Rinchen Pun So. I supplicate you, Rinchen Nambar Gyalwa. I supplicate you, Penchen Pelgi Gyal Tsen. I supplicate you, Cholen Nambar Gyalwa. I supplicate you, Tsongme Chogyal Pun So. I supplicate you, Drupchen Dashi Pun So. I supplicate you, Jason Gonjo Rinchen. I supplicate you, Rixin Choki Drabam. I supplicate you, Gonjo Trinle Namgyal. I supplicate you, Gonjo Trinle Sangpo. I supplicate you, Trinle Dondu Chogyal. I supplicate you, Gonjo Tenzin Chodu. I supplicate you, Tenzin Chukini Ma. I supplicate you, Kyabda Peme Gyaltsen. I supplicate you, Jamyan Choki Gyaltsen. I supplicate you, Duwang Choki Gyaltsen. I supplicate you, Rinchen Tempes again. I supplicate you, Gyalwang Tukje Nima. I supplicate you, Rigzin Nuden Turje. I supplicate you, Jason Choki Lodro. I supplicate you, Gyalcho Shive Lodro. I supplicate you, Jason Dharmakara. I supplicate you, Tritsub Tenzin Tupten. I supplicate you, the dark Bokagyu, protectors of wandering beings. I supplicate you, my kind root guru. Look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion, reckless and mundane, although I meditate on the rarity of the freedoms and endowments. I still squander away my life. Look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion, reckless and mundane, although I meditate on impermanence and death. I still fixate on composite phenomena as permanent. Look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion. Reckless and mundane, although I meditate on the unmistaken nature of cause and effect, I still pervert what to adopt and what to abandon. Look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion. Reckless and mundane, although I meditate on the sufferings of cyclic existence, I still take the way to the lower realms. Look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion. Reckless and mundane, although I safeguard the vows of individual liberation, I still lack renunciation and the determination to be free. Look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion, reckless and mundane, although I meditate on all wandering beings. As my parents, I still have bias attachment to friends and aversion for enemies. Look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion, reckless and mundane, although I cultivate loving kindness and compassion. I still hold on to envy and enmity. Look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion. Reckless and mundane, although I cultivate aspiration and action bodhicitta, I still focus only on my own welfare. Look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion. Reckless and mundane, although I meditate on my body as the deity's exalted form, I still cling to ordinary perception. Look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion. Reckless and mundane, although I have counted the mantras to be recited, I still waste away my life force. Look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion. Reckless and mundane, although I cultivate samadhi of moon in the water, I still solidify things as real and substantial. Look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion. Reckless and mundane, although I conclude by dissolving in the subsequent stage, I still purify and confess superficially. Look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion. Reckless and mundane, although I meditate on my own mind as free from elaborations, I still have conceptual attitudes. Look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion. Reckless and mundane, although I cultivate not grasping at whatever arises, I still affix an artificial watchfulness. Look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion. Reckless and mundane, although I meditate on resting freely in the natural state, I still amplify artificialities. Look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion. Reckless and mundane, although I meditate on unity beyond conceptions, I still get carried away by the masses of likes and dislikes. Look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion. Reckless and mundane, I supplicate you, who are my refuge and protector in this and all other lives, physician who removes the chronic diseases of samsara, hero who vanquishes the enemies that are afflictive emotions, sun which dispels the darkness of ignorance, moon that protects from the heat of suffering, jewel which fulfills all our needs and desires. You, Guru, who are all-inclusive and all-sufficient, I supplicate you from the depths of my heart. With compassion, swiftly heed me, effortlessly bestow your blessings. Grant me now and on this seat the naturally accomplished feast of the two benefits. I am endowed with both merit and devotion. Do not leave my hopes unfulfilled. Don't cast away my devotion in vain. Don't let my supplications vanish unanswered. Don't be indifferent with your compassion. Refuge and protector in this life, in the intermediate state and beyond. Whatever occurs, joy or sorrow, good or bad, only you are my hope. Look upon me with eyes of compassion. You alone are my hope. I supplicate you, supreme refuge, Jigten Sumgun. I supplicate you, compassionate Karwan Konchorana. I supplicate you, gentle protector, Gyutru Dharma Kirti. I supplicate you, supreme refuge, Jigten Sumgun. I supplicate you, compassionate Karwan Konchorana. I supplicate you, gentle protector, Gyutru Dharma Kirti. I supplicate you, supreme refuge, Jigten Sumgun. I supplicate you, compassionate Garwang Konchoratna. I supplicate you, gentle protector, Gyutru Dharma Kirti. I supplicate you, supreme refuge, Jigten Sumgun. I supplicate you, compassionate God, Vangkon Choratna. I supplicate you, gentle protector, you true Dharma Kirti. I supplicate you, supreme refuge, Jigten Sumgun. I supplicate you, compassionate Karwangkon Jorana. I supplicate you, gentle protector, you do Dharma Kirti. I supplicate you, supreme refuge, Jigten Sumgun. I supplicate you, compassionate Karwangkon Jorana. I supplicate you, gentle protector, Gyutu Dharma Kirti. I supplicate you, supreme refuge, Jigten Sumgun. I supplicate you, compassionate Garvankon Choratna. I supplicate you, gentle protector, Gyutu Dharma Kirti. I supplicate you, supreme refuge, Jigten Sumgun. I supplicate you, compassionate Garvankon Choratna. I supplicate you, gentle protector, Gyutu Dhamma Kirti. From this life onward until awakening is reached, other than the three of you, you victors, fathers and sons, I have no other hope. Don't lose your compassion and give up on me, as there are none like you, kings, you victors, fathers and sons. You are all that I need, my only hope and reliance. I supplicate you with fierce and strong devotion from the utmost depths of my heart. Without delay and indifference, look upon me with your eyes of primordial wisdom. After this life, while I am in the intermediate state, draw me out with your hook of primordial wisdom and compassion. So please read silently from page 33 all the way to the to page 40. The section is a prose section describing the activities of this father and sons, Kyopa Jigten Sumgun, spiritual sons, Konchoratna and Dharmakirti, where they are now, in which Buddha land, they are performing what Buddha activities. As I explained yesterday night during the Dharmakirti weekly meeting, so these activities being described, where is Kyopa Jigten Sumgun now, where is Konchoratna, where is Dharmakirti? These are describing, in fact, the relative state, where they are in the relative state. Now, also, what is not described here, of course, is the fact that we also believe that Konchoratna is today's Kyabgon Chesang Rinpoche, right? And Koncho, and then Dharmakirti is today Kyabgon Chungsang Rinpoche in Tibet. So, on the relative level, these three gurus are performing Buddha activities throughout all time and space. But on the ultimate level, when Jigten Sumgun was passing away, or close to, one of his disciples, Sherab Jungne, asked him, Lord, where will you go from here? And he answered, he said, I'm not going anywhere. Because there's no coming in any case, so there's no going. Coming and going is just on the relative level that we are perceiving and experiencing coming and going. And coming and going of this confused person here, and the comings and goings of awakened beings, they are all just appearances. Then push further, the disciple asked, but Lord, where can we find you, when you're physically gone? Then he made the ultimate level statement, which is, he said, whenever bodhicitta is present, whenever bodhicitta is being practiced, right there, right there, I am there. So I'm never separate from anyone who practices the bodhicitta. Anyway, you can read now silently from page 33 to page 40 before we continue. Thus, these three victors, Father and Sons, the gathering and embodiment of the ocean of Kagyu Gurus, and Siddhas and all Idams, Dakinis, and Dharmapalas with wisdom, knowledge, loving compassion, exalted activities, and protective powers. By your blessings, bless me and all sentient beings so that our minds turn to the Dharma. Bless us so that the Dharma turns into the Dharma. Bless us so that the Dharma enters the path. Bless us so that the path clears confusion. Bless us so that confusion dawns as wisdom. Bless us so that all our karmic and afflictive obscurations and our cognitive obscurations and habitual obscurations are cleared away. Bless us so that they are cleared on this seat. Bless us so that they are cleared in this session. Bless us so that our mind streams are cleansed. Bless us so that our mind streams are fully liberated. Bless us so that we are liberated now. Bless us so that we are liberated on this seat. Bless us so that we are liberated in this session. Bless us so that the Supreme Samadhi arises unmistakably in our mind streams. Bless us so that it arises now. Bless us so that it arises on this seat. Bless us so that it arises in this session. Bless us so that the unmistaken, supreme, primordial wisdom arises in our mind streams. Bless us so that it arises now. Bless us so that it arises on this seat. Bless us so that it arises in this session. Hear, O sublime, glorious Guru, from your forehead center, white lights emanate, dissolving into my forehead. Immediately fully cleansing my body and my waking state of their obscurations and planting the seed for the Nirmana Kaya, the exalted body Vajra, the Guru's exalted body and my body are inseparable. This is the indestructible appearances, emptiness, Kaya Siddhi. Hear, O sublime, glorious Guru, from your throat center, red lights emanate, dissolving into my throat immediately, fully cleansing my speech and my dream state of their obscurations and planting the seed for the Sambhogakaya, the exalted speech Vajra, the Guru's exalted speech and my speech are inseparable. This is the indestructible sound emptiness, Vaka Siddhi. Hear, O sublime, glorious Guru, from your heart center, blue lights emanate, dissolving into my heart, immediately fully cleansing my mind and my deep sleep state of their obscurations, and planting the seed for the Dharmakaya, the exalted heart, Vajra, the Guru's exalted heart, and my mind are inseparable. This is the indestructible clarity, emptiness, Chitta Siddhi. Hear, O sublime, glorious Guru, from your navel center, golden lights emanate, dissolving into my navel, immediately fully cleansing my equipoise mind in the moment of transition of their obscurations. Having ripened the Swabhavika Kaya, the three primordial wisdom Vajras, and my body, speech, and mind are inseparable. This is the indestructible bliss, emptiness, Sarva Siddhi. Here the retinue dissolves like breath on a mirror disappearing. The glorious Guru's exalted body dissolves and furthermore turns into beautiful masses of five scarlet lights. Resplendent like 100,000 suns, these lights dissolve into oneself. Immediately you are blazing in various colors of light, bright lights and rainbows fill the 3,000-fold universes. This is the indivisible unity of clarity and emptiness, just as it is primordially free from elaborations, the great middle way. Seal and perfection, don't be confused by the names. Their meanings are identical, the indivisible unity of primordial wisdom. Evam Haya Alala Ho. By the virtues collected in the 3 times by me and the entirety of samsara and nirvana, may I and all sentient beings quickly attain the unsurpassed, perfect, complete, precious Bodhi. So continuing from yesterday, which is we were at the beginning of this generation stage. So here, Khenpo Chokyap's notes that he provides for his Vajavarahi sadhana, he says, the true condition of your actual body, of this body, is that all the aggregates, the elements, the sense bases, the aggregates are the 5 aggregates, the elements referring to the dhatu, sense bases, and those are talking about so forms, the eye organ, and the eye consciousness. And so for sight to take place, these 3 have to come together, coincide, and then you say, sight is taking place. So in other words, all our physical experiences, all the experiences that come through our physical and intellect, all of that, the channel elements, so even the more subtle parts of this body, they have primordially been established as the nature of male and female deities. Yet the temporary stains of attachment to ordinary appearances that defiles the true nature must be cleared. So here is saying, in fact, from the Vajrayana perspective, not only are these aggregates, elements, channels, winds, drops, all these things, not only are they insubstantial, not only are they empty, not only are they without fixity, because earlier, right, it says you have to do this by understanding the insubstantiality, the illusory nature. We talked about that yesterday. But furthermore, from a Vajrayana perspective, it is said that they are the male and female deities, in fact, every element of our being is identified with a deity on any given mandala, such as Vajavarahi and her mandala, or Chakasambara and Vajavarahi in union and their mandala, and all of that. So this is yes, talking about what I think Judy asked yesterday about, this element of awe, this element of wonderment, right? But we should not too quickly go into this, because then it might be a confused way of getting carried away. Oh, I'm seeing this vision, I'm having this experience, all these things. Unless they are unless this awe, this wonderment is really kind of like has as its foundation, this realization of emptiness, then the experiences that arise, in fact, in many other sources, they are called the Mara states. Hearing this, seeing that, all these are Mara states. And the Mara states arise when the five aggregates are a little unhinged. And there are many ways that the five aggregates can become unhinged. In part, our practice is loosening, in a way you could say, the hold of the five aggregates. But if you loosen it without enough foundation or preparation, then it'll give rise to what we call Mara states. So the language of deities, which you could say is the language of wonderment, of awe, and all of that. Those experiences, until and unless they're informed by, or you could say blessed with, this realization of the insubstantial, so that you can truly utilize, the wonderment, so to say, without having those wonderment controlling you. This is the difference between like shamanic and ecstatic experiences and actual Dharma practice. Dharma practice utilizes a lot of, in fact, you could say, Indian shamanic folk tradition, where there are various ways of like, inducing intense experiences. Manipulating breath, invoking spirits to take possession. All those are, kind of part and parcel of the religious, spiritual vocabulary and contours of ancient India. So Vajrayana methods and techniques are sometimes very similar to those techniques. But how you use them is very different. How you cause, the five aggregates to not be so strong, or to kind of start to get what we might call unhinged, and for what purpose is this different? Anyway, here he says, the true condition of this body, whether we're talking about the aggregates, the elements, the sense spaces, the channels, they are primordially of the nature of the male and female deities. And then another meaning, when we say they are deities, what do we mean? We don't mean they are ordinary deities. That much I think you know. Then you say, oh, no, we mean they are the deities as in like the Buddhas. Male and female, peaceful, wrathful, all of that. And then Buddhas exist for what purpose? Buddhas exist entirely for the purpose of benefiting beings. So, less poetically, perhaps we could say then, can you relate to this body and therefore this existence in a way that is actually, its very existence is beneficial to others? Oh, I can't say that about this. Not yet. In fact, I think this is just taking up space and even causing harm to others to continue right now. But it says, the nature of this are the deities. Every aspect of this. But right now, as they say, I'm just occupying space and competing for oxygen. Not yet realized as deities. But nonetheless, so it says, therefore the temporary stains. And what are these stains here? They are the stains of being attached to ordinary appearances that then tarnish this true nature. Of course, the true nature cannot literally be tarnished. It's simply that on a superficial level, it appears obscured. So these obscurations needs to be removed. And then, so you say, what does that mean? That doesn't mean walking around, thinking, I'm deity, I'm deity. No, I don't have anger. I'm deity, I'm deity. No, I don't have jealousy. That's not how you remove, okay? That's just like putting on a pair of pink, shades and walk around and say, oh, yes, now everything is pink. I've realized the pink nature of everything. No, we're not talking about that, The temporary stains of attachment to ordinary appearances that are defiling and polluting, that needs to be removed. So now we're not talking about anything other than working on removing these afflictive emotions when they arise in day-to-day life. Are we paying more attention to how they take over, how easily they control how we feel and all of that, and working on removing that? So all levels of Buddhist practice has always need to be always present. So that attachment to ordinary appearances can be cut. Elsewhere, in another instruction, also related, same as this kind of instruction, but from another text, in another tradition. Let me read to you. These are also kind of very clear instructions. It says, in this regard, so regarding this kind of arising as deity, it says, it is mistaken to think that it is this flesh and blood body of ours that is turned into a deity. So this is very interesting, He says it's mistaken to think that it is this flesh and blood body of ours that is turned into or generated into a deity. And that it is this deluded and afflicted mind that is turned into, generated as the Buddha's wisdom mind. And you say, wait, I thought this is what we're talking about. Yeah, but this is a very good nuance, a more subtle point. He says, no. See, what is required here is that the continuum, the continuity of our deluded mind needs to be cut. And that our body and the aggregates must all be purified into emptiness, the absence of inherent existence. Now, so to elaborate, what are we talking about here? How is it, how is it not? How is it that we can say that it is not this flesh and blood body that is being transformed or generated into a deity? It is not this deluded mind that is being generated or transformed into wisdom mind of the Buddhists. What this instruction is pointing out is it says, it's not literally this body. You're not trying to like toss out this body. And in the place of what is now occupying the couch that I'm currently sitting on, this flesh and blood body, somehow you think, oh, deity yoga means, throw this away. And now just a body of light is sitting here. So many of us run into problems because we think this is what, but then we also know, well, that's impossible. So then we try to do deity yoga. Then we run into these problems of like, oh, so I sit here. Okay, let's pretend I'm not sitting here. A body of light is now sitting here. So this is what it means. It's like you're trying to turn this. But it's the nature of this, not this, but the nature of this is deity. Okay, now what does that mean? So it says here, what is required is that this habitual continuity, continuously working deluded mind, that needs to be cut. Meaning, our concepts, our conceptions about I, that's what needs to be cut. Our habitual concepts about who I am and what I am, that needs to be cut. And because so much of who we think what I am, who I am, is based on an image of this body, this flesh and blood body. Therefore, in Vajrayana, there are the deity forms are given as a skillful method to cut that continuum of deluded mind, that continuity of deluded mind. So coming back to Khenpo Chokyap, he says, by practicing the path of cultivating the aspects of the faces and the hands of the deity, for example, it is taught that the result is the manifestation of the form body of the deity. And so when we stabilize the mind by meditating on the various aspects of the deity, the hand implements held in Vajravarahi's hands and all of that, he says that is taught as a direct way to give rise to the form bodies, meaning Sambhogakaya and Nirmanakaya. These are form bodies, Rupakaya. And of course, the explicit function or purpose of Rupakayas is so that other beings can relate to us, see us, hear from us, touch us, smell us, and all of that. And in doing so, become connected to the Dharma that will free them. It says in the Hevajra Tantra, all sentient beings are Buddhas. However, they are temporarily obscured. By clearing the obscurations, they are Buddhas. This is a very famous quote, often quoted in many tantric commentaries of the Hevajra Tantra. All sentient beings are Buddhas, but they are temporarily obscured. And when these obscurations are removed, then we will experience ourselves as Buddhas. In the Vajra Tent Tantra, it says, since the temporary defilements of the body must be removed, one must indeed meditate on oneself as having the Buddha appearance. So with regards to the obscurations of the body. So what it's saying here is that it's not literally that the body is obscured. We're not talking about that kind of stain. We're talking about the conceptual hold. And so those are the temporary defilements, conceptual holds of the, so it says here, temporary defilements of the body. So it's not literally the body, it's temporary defilements that arise in connection with this body. That must be removed. That must be purified. And that is removed and purified by meditating on these divine forms. And then elsewhere, I've talked about how you also cannot think, I'll meditate on myself as a divine form. Oh, I'm Vajavarahi. But then, outside this context, you continue to do things, actions of body, speech, and mind that is contrary to this. Then you have a tough time convincing yourself, oh, I am deity. I was just lying, cheating, and doing all kinds of things. How well, I'm not behaving like deity. Yeah. So all those you still have to continue to make efforts. And then through this skillful method, the experience of or the purification, the removal of these defilements of the body can become more effective if you train to see yourself as this or that deity as a way to enhance your less colorful, less sexy, less exciting practice of giving up the 10 non-virtues, cultivating the 10 virtues, cultivating the 6 paramitas. If you don't, intentionally avoid the 10 non-virtues, engage in the 10 virtues, cultivate the 6 paramitas. Just simply 1 hour a day thinking, oh, I'm Vajavarahi, not going to work. In the Tantra requested by the 4 goddesses, it says, it is taught that the aggregates and the like are truly the 5 Buddhas. Meditating with certainty upon this truth, one becomes a Buddha through the power of one's own mind. Through the power of one's own mind. Questions or comments? Yes?
I have a question about harming other sentient beings in order for this body to exist fully. Well, in my case, I had to start eating meat again, and I had stopped for a long while. A good motivation. What do you think about that? Is there something I can do to remedy that? Some practice? I've been thinking when I'm doing sur practice about that.
Yeah, so you know, the fact of being alive, you know, it's often at the expense of something else, whether seen or unseen, you know. So that this is what all of a practice is, that you know we do our best, right? I mean, if you look around, you will find things like, you know, oh, you know, this mantra or that mantra to bless the food and to make a connection, you know, for the beings that have died for your food, and you can find things like that. But I generally don't don't I don't know. I think it, you know, sometimes things like that can make people think, oh, now it's okay to eat meat, or you know, like, and not forget, like, no, it's still a fault, you know, but that's my current situation, you know. So better to just more in a more general overall way, I feel, you know, to understand, to always be aware and conscious, like, and beyond the issue of eating or not eating meat is the issue of, like, you know, that I'm here, you know, means that I'm negatively impacting something else, someone else that wants to be here, you know. As simple as that, you know. Then in the more extreme cases, you know, this is the what's going on in the Middle East, what's going on in Ukraine. It's like, you know, some people wants to be there and some people doesn't want somebody to be there, and for all the, you know, complicated rights and wrong reasons. But the very fact is, you know, that I exist means, you know, I am someone's way. So even having that awareness, you know, then when something happens, you know, that we have to kind of see that truth, maybe we also are less shocked, you know, more prepared, like, oh yeah, of course this person is not happy, you know. Because in a way sometimes we are just so self-absorbed, you know, we think I'm just minding my own business. And often when we say that, now I'm just minding my own business, what I mean is, like, you know, I'm not doing anything to anyone. And that's what you think. That's not how other people are perceiving what's going on. That's not how other people are experiencing, you know, what's going on. You know? So often, you know, people, uh, like in these conflicts, you know, often you can find, you know, like, I mean, you're watching the news, the interview, it's like, oh, I'm just living my life here. Yes, of course, on one level, yes. But then, don't think that because you only think I'm just living here, you know, right? It doesn't mean that, you know, someone has been inconvenienced and someone is unhappy. Yeah, so yes, you know, then, you know, when we dedicate our practice, when we say, you know, we do the bodhicitta, you know, when we think, you know, all the beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles. See, in that prayer, it doesn't say, you know, whether they are rightfully enemies or wrongfully enemies, whether they have a right to be angry at you or don't have a right to be angry at you. It doesn't matter. So, Buddha Dharma's perspective, you know, whether they have a right or they don't have a right, whether they rightfully, wrongfully, legally, illegally, it doesn't matter. So sometimes I feel that, you know, to try to use Buddha Dharma to try to apply to, you know, very complicated world politics and issues like that, I think it's not so easy. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I dare not venture into that area to say too much about, because it's so complicated. Because on the level of politics, on the level of rights, on the level of human rights and all of that, I don't think you can say, you know, oh, rightfully, wrongfully, doesn't matter. Buddha Dharma practice, but then it's not in conflict. We're not, so I think it's also a mistake if people say, oh, Buddha Dharma says doesn't matter, therefore it doesn't matter. No, 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 it doesn't work like this. These are often spoken from the position of privilege. So we see people, wars going on, fighting, and then, I don't know, I see on Facebook people like, we just need to have peace. We just need to love each other and hug each other. Aha, you're not in the war zone, so go ahead, keep talking like that. You're in the comforts of your home. Yes, Judy.
When you were talking about the nuance of this body, and it's similar, is it not, to the idea that when we visualize emptiness, the furniture does not disappear.
Yes, correct.
Same idea.
Yes, yes. Furniture doesn't disappear, house doesn't disappear, computer doesn't disappear.
Thank you.
Even though, so later I will read from this other commentary where it says, even though it says, everything dissolve, he says, please understand that it's not talking about literally everything dissolve. If it helps you to temporarily not fixate on them, to think that everything has dissolved, great. But he says it's not literally that's what we're working on. If literally that's what we're working on, then that's called nihilism. We are going to smash everything until nothing is left to smash. Then we say, emptiness achieved. And he says, no, that's not what it is about. But if the image, the idea that everything dissolves into light is helpful, use that. Use that as a way to untether, to temporarily disengage. He says, fine, do that. But don't mistake the method for the view. So we talk a lot about method and view. Don't mistake the method for the view. The view of emptiness has to be established in a clear way, so that when we apply the method, the language of the method doesn't pervert the view. Yes, Trent.
So on page 47 of the practice, there's the line that says, it's in the middle of the page, the Guru's exalted heart and my mind are inseparable. Before you refer to the heart mind, so I'm just wondering, is there a purpose here of distinguishing the Guru's heart versus my mind?
Oh, it's just the term in Tibetan is tuk, and for the Guru, and the term for sentient beings is sem. So tuk is like a honorific.
I see.
Yeah. So that's what's going on there. So sem is sentient beings have sem, Buddhas have tuk. Yeah. Sentient beings have, another word for sentient beings, mind is yi. Lunga yi yi. Yi is also mind, and there are quite a few different words. But in all cases, sem and yi are like non-honorific. And then when talking about Buddha's mind, it's always the word tuk.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. So exalted mind might be sufficient, instead of exalted heart and my mind. But translation choices were made, and rightfully, wrongfully. Yeah, so in Tibetan and then in Buddhist vocabulary, the heart mind is not separated out. You know, like, oh, this is the intellect, this is the intellectual, and this is the emotional and the emotive. You know, this is the cognitive, this is the emotive. It's not so clearly, separated.
Could you tell us about the three siddhas of Kam?
Not yet. We're not there yet.
Okay.
Omniscient Google will pull things up for you. So. Okay, so we'll end here today. Tomorrow we don't have class. I'm going to be away for the next few days, leading a retreat, the Southern Dharma. But we will resume on Monday. Yeah. Chanju Sam Chorim Poje Ma Ge Ba Nam Ge Yur Che Ge Ba Nyam Pa Me Pa Yang Gong Ne Gong Du Bel War Shou. Okay, bye everyone.
Thank you,
Have a
Lapa.
good
Thank you.
weekend. Yeah.
Gracias.
Gracias, Lord Yelopon.
Thank you.